why don't we jump into actually looking at their property in this week's segment of Teardown?
All right. So,
whoa. Hello, Chris Helmsworth. Didn't expect to see you here.
Front page of the PopSugar website, just going loud and proud with Chris Hemsworth. This limitless looks like show that he's doing on National Geographic. So coming in strong with ads here. I just don't ever think that this approach to integrating advertising into your media site is a good experience. The fact that we've got to scroll down to get you've got to go below the fold to actually get what you came for, which are the headlines. Is I don't know, not great. I would say not my favorite part of this site.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they are likely generating the majority of their revenue through ads is somewhat appreciated. But holy moly, that not only I can't close it, I can't minimize it, I can't delete it. I am stuck with Chris Hemsworth making me feel really bad about myself as I'm trying to read this website. And I'm like trying to, I just scroll enough to get the header of PopSugar, at the top of my browser, just so I can have a better kind of reading experience or something that I would appreciate. So again, I think, the lessons in terms of from B2B companies, like I don't think we're going to get to a place where we're advertising third-party ads, within our own properties, but surely there is a tasteful way to sort of integrate those. To James's point, one other thing that I'm observing is that there's no clear call to action to sign up or to actually convert any of my readership into subscribers, into an owned audience. If we keep scrolling, I see there's a newsletter like module here on the page, but it's not very easy to find. It's buried way deep into the site. I think if you go to the menu, kind of hamburger menu on the left, you see a login register kind of call to action. You click that and you get this pop up to register, but no clear benefit to why. Why should I register? Why should I give up my information here? And so going between this observation and the giant Chris Hemsworth, I suspect that building an owned audience isn't the strategy for PopSugar, that they're more focused on advertising and kind of monetizing their viewership through ad dollars, which, I think it is a dangerous path to be on in a world where paid media is getting much more expensive. And in general, this is becoming more interruptive and for the customer experience. So I find it interesting that they haven't evolved their strategy into other premium offerings like events or courses or other ways to really help kind of build an owned audience on top of PopSugar.
So there doesn't feel like there's any community functionality here. So it'd be great, I think, if PopSugar had audience and community engagement designed into the site, into the experience that we're looking at here. I'm assuming that their community engages on social, but we both know, I mean, social's rented land, and you're kind of a slave to the algorithm and everything that's going on with Twitter right now. I mean, it just doesn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't seem super wise to me to throw all your chips in on building your community on rented land. So I think bringing the audience and the community into their site could be a much better play for them.
Totally. They're claiming 32 million fans and followers, I imagine, across all social platforms. So certainly that is a audience that they are building on those rented channels. But I think the point's a valid one. If we really want to claim that we're the number one female lifestyle brand, they could stand to benefit from a more direct relationship with that audience.
All right. So I want to get into takeaways.
The first one is a giant Chris Helmsworth ad actually drives conversions of your SaaS. No, I'm kidding. Definitely don't do that, or do it. I don't know. Let me know how it goes. But the first actual takeaway is that PopSugar does such a good job of being a champion of this audience. They're so clearly defined with their persona, right? 18 to 34-year-old females, sort of millennial kind of generation. Now, as Gen Z is getting into that space, is really I'm sure a lot of their tactics are evolving. But they are the torch bearers, the flag bearers, whatever you want to call it, the lifestyle brand for folks in that demographic. And we see it in, their visual identity and how they show up on their site, the sort of minimalist look with the some of the different colors that they use for their art direction. But in general, they fundamentally are the hero brand for this audience. And I can't help but think, as we kind of go to market for our brands and the audiences that we want to build and serve and engage, how can we kind of be that? Everyone claims wanting to be a thought leader, but that comes from actually being authentic with the value that we kind of deliver to that audience. But it starts with knowing that audience, understanding who they are, understanding kind of what their needs are in the market. How can we kind of build content that really serves them, whether in PopSugar's case to entertain and maybe even educate around beauty and fashion and wellness and some of these other topics. But also, if you're a customer support brand and those, turns out support reps are humans as well, and being able to market to them and help them kind of on their journey through the use of your content and other kind of programs. So I think PopSugar does a really good job of being that hero brand for the 18 to 34 female segment, and we can stand to benefit from deeply understanding our audience too. I'll give you one more here. I think that a takeaway for B2B brands is to organize your site in a way that sort of prioritizes what matters and what is relevant to your audience. And so we talked about the language we've been using is collections of content here. So in PopSugar's case, they've really organized around top news, must read, now spotlight. And I think frankly, a lot of these could also be synonyms and hard to understand the differences of. But then in addition to sort of more of that, call it broader bucket around featured content, they have sort of the categorical content around fitness and celebrity and fashion and beauty. And they sort of use those as organizational, guideposts as folks are interacting with their sites. So there's something about, not necessarily feeling stuck in a navigational format or a set of collections that's really around, content type, but breaking free of that, but making sure that what you do makes sense for the journey that users are on as they're interacting with your content.
Yeah.